Hello, all you rebel scum, and welcome back to the Padawan Podcast, our all Star Wars show where we geek out from everything in the galaxy far, far away. Welcome to our first show of 2016. We're excited to be back. I'm your host, Jake Berlin, a.k.a. Qui-Gon Jake, and I am joined today by the normal members of the Academy, Jacob Barley and Gio Ramos. How's it going, guys?
Hello. It feels so good to be back, guys.
Going very well. I'm excited to talk Star Wars again. Like we were just saying, we haven't had a normal episode of the Padawan Podcast in months because we did our last 4 were all movie reviews, which they were worthy of. But yeah, I'm excited to go.
Yeah, it's been a while, and there's been a bunch of stuff going around the Star Wars universe, especially after the release of The Force Awakens. So we have a lot to talk about today. We're going to jump right into it. So we're going to start off today by giving a little ode to the successful nature of what The Force Awakens has done in the last few weeks. We all know that's made a bunch of money, but how much? It's actually become it's made the most money in North America box office history. It's made over $800 million, the first movie ever to do so. A testament to what it is as a film. If I'm not mistaken, it's made $1 billion and $800,000, if I'm correct. Near $800,000.
About $20 million short.
About $20 million short, okay. It's got a long way to go. It's only been out for 4 weeks, if I'm correct.
18th?
Yeah, so
14th?
Just real quick, I want to go over, what does it mean for it to be the first to have the ranking as best or made the most money in North American history? And, what can it do worldwide as the movie continues forward? Gio, let's start with you.
Oh, this means so much. I don't think any country in the world is more passionate about Star Wars than the Americans, us. It'll be the first Star Wars film to gross $1 billion and the first film to gross $1 billion.
It'll be the first movie ever to gross $1 billion at the box office.
And it's a Star Wars film. That just says a lot about, how passionate the Star Wars fans are, the fan base, and a testament to how much people really enjoyed this movie. Like I said, it felt like Star Wars again. It has a high rewatchability factor going for it. So
especially by how many times we've seen it.
Right. Yeah. So it kind of doesn't surprise me that the film grossed $1 billion domestically. Yeah.
Jacob?
Yeah, I personally take pride in this because I've seen episode 7 times.
I'm with you.
And
7 times.
I've contributed so much to this box office. No, I'm just kidding. But I have for one individual. I definitely have. But has to be over $100 by now. But who cares? Yeah, this is amazing. It's incredible. And just like Gio said, it's a perfect representation of America and American society. I didn't want. What was Avatar the number one?
Avatar's the number one.
I want Avatar to be the representation of our, of America as far as the highest grossing film. So it's perfect that Star Wars is. And yeah, I mean, it sucks because I want it to beat Avatar worldwide, but I don't think it's going to happen.
Well, let's move right in it. Is there any kind of chance of it catching
There is
Avatar?
A chance, but I'm going to say like 15% chance. I desperately want it to happen. And it sucks because I don't think, look, we had a rarity in this because it was the first Star Wars movie in over 10 years that coming off of the prequels, the first good Star Wars movie in over 30 years. So I don't like Episode 8 could be a better movie, but I still don't think it's going to even make as much money as The Force Awakens. I think this was our only chance of beating Avatar, and it's probably not going to happen.
This film's an anomaly. I don't think we'll ever see anything like it again.
But I want it to happen for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Gio, what do you think?
No, I don't think it has a chance, and that's very unfortunate because I was so rooting for this film to do so, but it already has accomplished so many, box office records. It's beaten them. The only way I see it happening is if next year they release, or maybe right before Episode 8, they re-release Star Wars: Force Awakens back in theaters.
Okay.
You could pick up some money there and then, or who knows? Maybe they release an uncut version.
Yeah, definitely. I'm with you guys. I don't think it'll catch Avatar. I think it'll come close. I think it'll mark that $2 billion range. I think it'll take over Titanic.
I think it's going to be Titanic for sure.
Yeah, I think it'll come in number 2.
Which
but
is cool.
it'll knock off James Cameron from having the 2 best films or most money made.
Which I don't hate on that.
No, definitely not.
I don't hate on that,
but it's just a testament of how great The Force Awakens is, and how many times people want to go see this film. So moving on, we're gonna jump into a little bit of a shorter topic, but Pablo Hidalgo, who is kind of known as the maestro of the Lucasfilm story group, recently had a little Twitter conversation with a couple fans, and he revealed that The Force Awakens for the longest time wasn't titled The Force Awakens. It was in fact titled Shadow of the Empire. And for those who don't know the now called Legend novels and comic books of the old, there was an acclaimed novel called Shadows of the Empire, which took place between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. So I just wanted to get your guys' opinion on this. Do you like the title Shadow of the Empire? And, comparing to The Force Awakens, which one fits and which one is just a better title overall? Jacob?
Look, Shadows of the Empire or Shadow of the Empire, I would have been okay with it, but I think, every Star Wars title has been different, They all, they never had the same key word in it, as far, A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back. And I feel like Shadow of the Empire would be too similar to Empire Strikes Back. I know it's not the exact same thing, it's not the exact same statement, but it focuses on the Empire. And I don't know if they named the movie based on what the story of The Force Awakens was, but this movie is clearly about the Force awakening and clearly about Daisy Ridley awakening the Force. So The Force Awakens is perfect for this movie, and it fits the movie, and it just, to me, it sounds cooler, like The Force Awakens.
No, definitely. I definitely agree with you.
I don't know, maybe Shadow of the Empire works for a sequel, but I feel like it would have broken the tradition of, every Star Wars movie has a different, type of name. We've never had the Force in a title before. So it works, we've had Jedi, we had Sith in the title. So, I'm so happy they chose The Force Awakens.
Yeah, I think The Force Awakens fits the film so much better. It's obviously, whether it's Rey or Kylo Ren, the Force is awakening.
Yeah.
And that's clearly what the film is, and they did a great job of picking a title that totally works. It's one of the better titles of the entire saga, to be honest. I mean, other than something like The Empire Strikes Back or Revenge of the Sith, I think it's right up there with one of the best titles.
That's an interesting topic. People never really talk about the title. We should do ranking the titles.
We could totally do that one time. Yeah, that might be good to talk about one day. But Gio, what do you think, man? Comparing the two, which one stands out to you more?
I agree with everything that you guys said. The Force Awakens is the better title. It's more fitting for the movie that we saw. Plus, Shadow of the Empire, I feel like it kind of takes away from the new threat, the First Order, because it's all right, you're the shadow of the Empire. The Empire was badass, but you're going to be, I feel like the title would take away from the First Order.
Like a lieutenant.
It's not a horrible title.
No, definitely not.
But it would just kind of, would take away a little bit from the First Order.
And it also falls in line, because with the original trilogy, you had A New Hope. This one, you have The Force Awakens. It more than likely, the second movie will have First Order in the title. Or some kind of dark
That's what I was going to
telling.
ask you guys. What do you think are potential titles? We have no idea, but what do you think it might have to do with or something?
It's either going to have some kind of something with the dark side or
what
the
if
First
dark
Order.
side is in the title? I think that would be sick, honestly.
How about Reign of the Dark Side?
Wasn't that somebody said that before or no?
Maybe
I've heard that.
Maybe Reign of the First Order. Maybe it was.
Oh, I think Ken Knapsack.
Okay, I think
somebody
he said
did
Reign
that,
of the First Order. Maybe.
Dude, Reign of the Dark Side would be freaking. I love that. I love it.
Personally, I like Finn Strikes Back for being led on.
Oh God, come on.
For being led on.
Come on.
Just kidding.
All right, well, moving on to one of the more fun topics that we're going to talk about, even when the film hits Blu-ray in a couple months. The deleted scenes for The Force Awakens have been revealed. There are a number of good scenes that we've heard about before. But going through the list, there's two different articles that I gave you guys, and there's the reported scene about the hand of the lightsaber floating in space. There's a longer scene between Corcella and the Starkiller base and the Hazian system. Unkar Plot apparently tracks down Rey at one point. So checking out all these scenes, deleted scenes that you guys were able to read through the article, what are a couple scenes that stand out to you the most? And what scene would you have loved to see in the movie? Gio?
Well, one of the scenes that I chose was the Corcel reporting to General Leia to discuss the next course of action, and then going to the Hosnian Prime to testify. It would have added the political element to Star Wars, which is a big complaint about fans that they have about the prequels. But I felt like that would have, kind of helped the film more and give it a little more backstory and a little bit more emotional depth. When we see the Starkiller base killing all these planets, like, yeah, it's sad, people are dying, but who are they?
I think the emotion is key there. It would have given a little bit of a backstory to who they were.
Well, they focus a lot on that character in that scene, and it's like the way the scene is shown, it's like you're supposed to know who the character is, but you don't.
Yes,
so
exactly.
I would have loved to seen that scene in there too.
Hopefully they include a little bit more politics and state of government and that kind of stuff in the future Star Wars films, because come on, guys, it can't always be about, X-Wings fighting and Jedis and bypassing
Yes, it
oppressors
can.
and all.
Yeah, it can be.
You gotta have some stuff in there. Another one was the flashback scene where Rey actually sees Luke and Vader during a brief vision in Cloud City. I think that would have been nice.
Well, that's kind of hinted at in the visions. Only the super Star Wars nerds would know this, but when we see her running through the hallway, she's actually looking at the fight. But apparently the scene that you're talking about, it actually shows the fight.
From a different angle.
In the vision,
footage.
yeah.
I would have loved to see that.
That would have been very cool.
That would have been cool, because, not a lot of people are like, okay, she's standing in the hallway. What?
A lot of people don't realize that that's Cloud City. And
I didn't realize it until like the third or fourth time I saw it. Yeah.
And then the very last one was when Kylo Ren enters the Millennium Falcon.
That's the one that stood out to me. Yep.
He mournfully reflects his life as Ben Solo. It just would have given him so much more, besides him just sitting there, which was great, seeing him talk to his grandfather in spirit, about coming to the light. I just thought it would have gave it a little bit more depth to Kylo Ren. Not that he didn't have any, but, could always use a little more.
Yeah, definitely I agree with a lot of the scenes. One that stands out to me, but I'm glad they didn't put in the movie, is the hand floating in space.
That would have been.
I think that's so cool. It said that it would have been actually in real time back during The Empire Strikes Back, as soon as it happened, and then would have flashed forward to meeting Poe Dameron on Jakku. Which I'm glad they didn't put that in the movie, because it would have taken it away. But just thinking about that scene, that would have been really cool. Definitely having Corcella on the Hosnian system, I think it would have added a lot more emotional depth, and we would have felt for the Hosnian system a little bit more. The Kylo Ren one is the one that we've actually been hearing about for a while. Mm-hmm. It's been rumored, him sitting in the Millennium Falcon. I would have loved to see that in the movie. I understand why they didn't put it in the movie. I would have loved to seen it before we even knew who Kylo Ren was, before knowing that he was actually Han's son. So that would have been really cool. But one that, just because the action nerd in me wants this, but the speeder bike scene with Rey, Finn, and the Stormtroopers. We see the back end of it when they're getting out of the speeder bike, running into the base. Yeah. But we've seen concept art of the actual scene, and I just can't help but love, because it also describes that Finn is actually driving first with Rey shooting, but it's not working, so they actually have to switch spots. Which, calling back to the original where they're shooting and fighting the Millennium Falcon.
Right. And he's been trained with a blaster all his life.
Exactly. So it's kind of a cool play on it. That would have been a really cool scene to stand out in the movie. I understand why they don't do it. But it would have been another action scene, in a scene that's all TIE fighters versus X-Wings. That would have been cool to see a new and improved speeder bike take on a speeder bike. So on top of a lot more other scenes, that's for sure. Jacob, what about you? A couple scenes that stand out to you more than others?
Yeah, here's the thing. All of these scenes, I want to see them, but I'm glad they're not in the movie. And we will. I'm glad they're not in the movie. Yeah. Like, the Unkar plot tracking her down, I don't want to see that in the movie. It would have been, too out of place, I think. And who has time for that in the way the story was told? But out of all of them, I would have loved to see the speeder scene, like you're talking about. That was my scene that I was going to, that's the one scene I want in the movie.
And I think it would have fit okay. I think it would have been okay to play in there.
As much as I love the last act and the battles and everything going on, it would have been cool to see a ground battle other than the lightsaber fight, some type of ground battle, and it would have kind of paid homage to the forest speeder scene in Return of the Jedi, which makes me think. I think we'll have a speeder scene in one of the other movies, but so technically they were in that speeder battle, right?
Well, we saw them getting out of as the door opens. As Han and Chewie are walking into the
and they go up the ladder right before they go up.
No, this is when we first see them come into the building. Not when they climb the ladder, but as the doors open, Rey has Finn's jacket on, and you see the speeder bike behind them. It's right before. It's right when they split up, and they're going to put the bombs in the building, and then Rey and Finn go do their thing.
Okay, yeah. I mean, other than that, I mean, they all sound really cool, and I want to see them just like on the side as deleted scenes, special edition, or on the DVD or Blu-ray. But yeah, the speeder bike scene would have been so cool, or the snow speeder scene would have been so cool.
Real quick, I want to get your thoughts on J.J. Abrams' confirmation that there will be no extended cut for the Blu-ray.
I'm fine with that.
There won't be any. This coming next year, but I bet you 10 years
well, here's
later
the
they'll
thing.
be like, yeah, we'll have it.
I think with Star Wars, you have to play it safe because if you release an extended edition, all right, is this edition canon or not? So
that's true.
And not that any of these things really have strong implications on the whole story, but still, it's different with like Furious 7. Like you're not paying attention to the history and the canon of the universe. But with Star Wars, you have to be very careful with the canon, and I don't think you can confuse people with, all right, which one's canon? Is the special edition canon, is extended edition canon too, as well as the original? So I'm fine with it. I would love to see it, of course.
Yeah,
but,
definitely.
And it's like similar to the X-Men Days of Future Past road cut. Is that canon in the X-Men universe? I don't know.
That changed the whole story in that one, that's for sure. That's true. All right, well, moving on past The Force Awakens, we're going to get to a little Rogue One news. Starting off with some casting and character details. The Force Awakens is now in theaters, and the Rogue One is now less than a year away. So we're no doubt going to get a lot more character details, information towards the film in the coming months. And we're starting off with some character names. First off is Riz Ahmed from Nightcrawler. He is a Rogue One character. He was shown in the first photo of the film. He is known as Bodhi Rook. And I just want to get your guys' quick thoughts on that and possibly who he could be playing. No information on who he is, what he does in the film, but from the name and from the image we have of him, what do you think he's going to be in the movie?
Honestly, I didn't even know there was a guy there until I looked again. Yeah, I think he's I think he could be one of those tech savvy guys. Like he
like
knows,
an engineer type.
He knows how to fix things.
Yeah.
It's evident from his clothing. He has goggles. He's wearing a vest with a bunch of equipment on. And he has his hair tied back like he's about to get to work. So I think he's a technical guy, which is cool. I want to see the Rogue One squad have different kinds of people. Like a medic.
Yeah.
A guy.
Yeah. Jacob, anything to add?
No. I agree with Gio. I mean, it's self-explanatory from the picture that he's a tech guy. He knows how things work. He's gonna be maybe their mechanic, or whatever they need. And I'm very glad that they're casting talent and giving, up-and-coming, young, unknown actors chances to fit in these. And Star Wars is the perfect property to do that with. So, yeah, I mean, he looks really cool. I'm really excited to see his character.
Yeah, I definitely echo everything you guys said. So another one, Duncan Powell, someone I haven't heard of before, but he was casted as a character, and his call sign is Goldeneye. Now, when everybody heard the title Rogue One, they all expected that the film was going to focus on a X-Wing squadron that is known as the Rogue Squadron in books, in novels, and comics. But, I mean, obviously it's about the Death Star plans. But it seems like maybe we're getting some featured X-Wing fighters within the film. So Goldeneye, does it change anything? Your thoughts on it? Is he going to be a prominent character in the film?
Goldeneye sounds like a weapons specialist, honestly. It also sounds like an X-Wing pilot guy, too. Cool name. Very cool name.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see what his real name is, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Jacob, anything to add?
I mean, so as far as we've known, like the colored squadrons are pilots, right? As far as we know?
Yes. Well, as far as we know, yes.
Yeah, I mean, you never know. There could be different squadrons that do different things.
Like in The Force Awakens, they had red and then black leader.
Black leader, red, and, obviously, and it's not always colors. You know, you have Rogue One, Rogue 2, and Empire Strikes Back.
Yes.
You know, so I think it's just another squadron, a pilot squadron. He's just Goldeneye.
Do you think that this could kind of be a play on what everybody thought the original film was going to be about, like the elite rogue squadron of X-wing fighters? Like maybe he's included in this.
I think so.
Probably, yeah.
I think you're gonna have your Poe Dameron type, not personality-wise, but as far as being a badass pilot, you're gonna have someone like that in Rogue One.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
All right, well, moving on to the probably the most significant casting. Nabila Karim, sorry if I butchered that name. She has been casted as a samurai in the film. That's what she's been described as. Don't know anything else about her. Don't have an image of her in the film yet. But does this have any kind of connection to Donnie Yen or Wen Jiang?
I think
from
it
the
does.
Image? Because they do have some kind of samurai look to them.
I'm just curious, what is a samurai in the Star Wars universe? Because
that's the big question.
On Earth, we know what a samurai is, but what is a samurai? Do they fight with like real swords? Because samurai implies, I don't really know, but it implies like not, you don't fight with guns, you fight with swords and weapons, So they've already said that Jedi aren't gonna. They didn't say Jedi weren't gonna be in the movie.
Well, they said Force. I think they said Force.
He said the Jedi aren't gonna save the day.
Okay.
There might have been other comments, but I know Gareth Edwards. That's a director, right?
Yes.
He said the Jedi are not coming to save the day. That doesn't mean they won't be in the film.
Yeah, it's
true. It really doesn't. So what if a samurai is a different type of Jedi, which would be really cool, but I doubt it.
Like maybe an ancient race of Jedi?
Yeah.
Like ancient, they're taught in the old school
I'd be fine
arts.
with they have blades, too, like as swords. That's exciting because one thing the Star Wars universe can do, because it's so huge, is introduce new things in every single movie. And if we get their definition of a samurai in the Star Wars universe, which we are, I'm totally excited for it. And yeah, I do think she's connected to their characters for sure.
Gio?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they come from the same combat unit. Gareth Edwards has said that this is going to be a very grounded Star Wars movie, so I expect a lot of close quarter fighting. Maybe their experience in hand-to-hand combat, we'll see a little bit of that. Who knows? Donnie Yen, his character is holding a staff.
Some kind of staff.
Some kind of staff. Those could be other. We see Daisy.
And he
Ridley with a staff.
looks like he's dressed in some kind of samurai robes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you don't get Donnie Yen unless you plan on him doing some kind of fast movement, martial arts kind of stuff.
Yeah, hearing this that she's been casted as a samurai, it makes me want the raid guys in this movie.
Yeah.
Rather than the Force Awakens, because they didn't do much.
Right.
Like, just imagine in this kind of movie, a grounded war, soldier-to-soldier fight like this, they would have fit perfectly in this type of film.
Well, I just want to say real quick, everyone's upset because the raid guys showed up and they didn't do anything. Well, first of all, they didn't all die.
Yeah.
The
two main ones didn't die, I don't think.
They didn't die. And second of all, I think they had a huge part in all the fight scenes, like helping direct them and like
the choreography.
Yeah, exactly, with the choreography of the fight scene. So I don't think they were brought on to actually have like a primary role in the film. I think they were brought on to help with the action, and that scene that they are in was just thrown in so they actually are in the movie as a cameo. So I think a lot of people, I don't know why a lot of people are upset. I don't think they understand that. They took a huge part in like the physical scenes, I think.
I think a lot of people might be upset because a lot of news sites ran with the fact that, these raid guys are being casted, and they speculated that they were going to be Knights of Ren.
And that sucks because it goes to show how much rumors and speculation lead us in the wrong way, and they give us unreal or like not real expectations, and we end up disappointed.
Yeah, I think I remember every site that ran with the story. I remember everybody speculating that they would be some kind of Knights of Ren.
Well, because that's their strongest suit.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like having Jet Li and Tony Jaa in a XXX movie, and them not fighting. It's like, okay, I don't know.
Hey, but who knows? Maybe we'll see him again.
Yeah, I think we'll definitely.
Rian Johnson's movies expected to be dark. That can go dark.
They didn't die for a reason.
No, and they have that. They have the ship. They have Han's old ship.
True.
So we never know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
All right. Well, moving on past the casting, we're gonna get to a little Ben Mendelsohn, one of the better actors casted in this film. We're all very excited about him, and we don't know exactly who's playing yet, but he spoke with Deadline over the weekend, and had a bunch to say about the film, about the Force Awakens, about Rogue One, Didn't give any major details about his role or the film, but one line specifically stood out to me. He was asked, what can we expect from the film? And he said, expect something pretty special. So, we hear this from actors all the time, but Ben Mendelsohn is someone who's a very character-driven actor. He's been in a lot of good films. His performance is always raved about. So first off, what are your thoughts about this comments? Anything else stood out in the article about you or about it? And, who do we think he's playing? Villain or good guy? Jacob?
Okay, so here's the thing. You have Ben Mendelsohn and Mads Mikkelsen in this movie.
Yeah.
If Mads Mikkelsen wasn't in the movie, I would say Ben Mendelsohn is playing a villain. But isn't it speculated and rumored that his character might initially be working for
Mads Mikkelsen?
No, Ben Mendelsohn, right?
No, Mads Mikkelsen is the one that you're thinking of.
Are you sure?
Yeah, that's actually the next topic we're talking about. Yeah.
I could have sworn it was Ben Mendelsohn. You're talking about Felicity Jones' character's dad who worked for the Empire
Mads
and
Mikkelsen,
then
yes.
switches.
It's Mads Mikkelsen,
Okay. Then, if Mads Mikkelsen, and this is all rumors, if he's rumored, if that comes true, then I think Ben Mendelsohn is a villain. Just maybe a general on the
some kind of Imperial officer.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, this cast is amazing. First of all, the lead,
Felicity Jones, we all love her.
Incredible, and. Yeah, Ben Mendelsohn and Mads Mikkelsen. Holy crap.
We have someone we haven't even talked about. Is Forrest Whitaker.
Yeah, dude. Oh my goodness, this cast is incredible.
Yeah. So, what about the comments? Him about saying expect something pretty special. Does this raise your anticipation, or is it like so-so?
Oh, me? Who's not gonna say that about a movie that they're involved with? But it definitely is good. It's a good thing to hear for sure.
Gio, what do you think?
I like his comments when he says it's something special. This isn't a guy who just signs up for anything,
Yeah.
Like he was in The Dark Knight Rises.
Well, he does a lot of indie films, which says a lot about him.
Mississippi Grind. If you guys haven't seen that one, definitely check it out. I'm probably gonna go bad guy just because
he fits the role.
He fits the role.
Yeah.
Other than that, not much I can say. Just great casting.
Yeah, I'm totally with you guys. It's very exciting to see him aboard this film. He says a lot of great things about the Force Awakens, and the pressure and the world that's created, all the kind of things. And the comments are great. As we said, actors say it all the time, but this just isn't any film. Actors are going to say certain things about the film, and it's a big deal to a lot of people. So I definitely feel like actors and directors and writers are not going to lead people on like maybe some other films. Ben Mendelsohn, like we said, he's a guy who does indie, so he knows good films. Yeah, he knows good writing.
And the reason that makes me think he's a bad guy is because you can't have Mads Mikkelsen and Ben Mendelsohn and have them both not be a bad guy.
They're the prototypical bad guys of today. The two.
If the rumor about Mikkelsen's true, which we're going to get into right now, he was a villain, technically. Not really a villain, but working for the Empire.
Yes.
And then has a change of heart. So we'll see.
Yeah, so getting right into it, some rumors have been floating around about Mads Mikkelsen's character and Felicity Jones. One of the bigger stories popped out in the last couple weeks. It says that, Mads Mikkelsen's character, which has been reported before, that his name is Galen. That came out a while ago, but as StarWarsNewsNet.com says, he's one of the key scientists behind the development of the Geonosian project that would become the Death Star. Galen is apparently the one who got the super laser to work after the Empire failed to figure it out for years. And it goes on to say, while revered in the Empire, Galen is ultimately horrified by the results of his labors, and he calls upon his daughter, reported as Felicity Jones' character, to lead a daring plan that will expose the weakness to the Death Star before it can kill billions of people. It says Jones will initially conceived as being a mercenary, but this may be different in the final product. So, after those, this is all rumors, of course, but after that little description of possibly of whose character is, what do you guys think?
Well, I like what they're giving Mads Mikkelsen's character, the inner conflict. He always does good with that, We saw it in Casino Royale with his character. And it makes sense as far as Felicity Jones being his daughter. It gives it that family element that you can always find in Star Wars movies. it rules out her. Well, if this report is true, it rules out her being a part of any established family.
That we've been speculating.
About. But overall, I mean, I like it. We'll have to wait and see whether it's true or not. But yeah, I'll buy it.
Yeah, I'm with you. It sounds awesome. I mean, it's a really cool way to tie everything together, and I like that he's the lead engineer on the Death Star project or the Geonosian project, I should say. And it sounds from the description, it sounds like he would be the co-lead. Like he would have a very big role in the film, which we almost kind of weren't expecting. We were expecting it to follow Felicity Jones most of the way, but it sounds like it might be following both of them, which would be very exciting because the father-daughter thing, him being an ex-Empire engineer, and she sounds like a total badass, first of all. For him to bring her in to do this kind of job sounds like almost like a very legit bounty hunter. That was one of
the main things I wanted to talk about.
Yeah, so we'll go ahead and take it away. What do you think?
Well, I mean, I'll get to Mads Mikkelsen in a second. I always get them mixed up. Their names sound so similar, their last names. But if he, first of all right, hold on. If he is, terrified, and he's working with the Empire, so he knows how dangerous they are. He knows of Darth Vader. His daughter better be a freaking badass if he's going to put her in danger. He's going to put his own daughter in danger, and she's the only person he can trust, but she has to be, she has to be able to do this, She has to have some type of fighting training, She has to be a soldier. You can't just, throw someone in there to handle this mission, let alone your own daughter. But I'm very excited about this, actually, because you hear Mads Mikkelsen in Rogue One, you automatically think villain because he's so good at playing Casino Royale.
And he's been villains multiple times.
Holy crap, Casino Royale! I actually I'm not interested.
I heard that he's really good at Hannibal too.
I was just gonna bring that up. I like the the Silence of the Lambs movie, but I'm not huge on that story. But I want to watch Hannibal because of him. It's on my top 10 shows that I want to get to list. So
that keeps growing.
Yeah, I mean, I just wish I could quit my job and just stay inside and watch movies and TV all day. That would be a dream. But yeah, this is amazing because I hope we get to see him working with the Empire first, and I want to see his change of heart or his him being terrified of what
I think that'll be the opening of the movie.
So I don't think he's gonna be a co-lead. I think he's gonna have a big role, and he's gonna have an important role. But I think that the team, it's gonna focus on the team.
So once she's brought in, it focuses on them.
Yeah, and their team.
I agree with you.
I wouldn't be, and there's no way we don't even know if this is true. First of all, but I wouldn't be surprised if he maybe at the beginning and he dies and he sacrifices himself so they can continue. Yeah. Maybe Vader's chasing them down and he distracts Vader or something and Vader just cuts his head off. I don't know.
Wow, that'd be pretty cool. But no, I mean, it all sounds really great. It kind of ties together with the photo because mentioning mercenaries, the photo looks like they're some kind of mercenaries.
Right.
They have these type of clothing, whatnot, and they definitely fit the build. Not just that, but it kind of ties everything together, saying that Galen is apparently the one who got the super laser to work after the Empire failed to figure it out for years. That kind of says that the Empire took that long to build the first one, but that's why they knew how to build the second one so quick, because they knew they had the answer now.
Oh, yeah.
So it kind of answers a lot of questions between the whole Star Wars universe.
And it's weird, maybe his character doesn't die, and it's weird to think about, he can blame himself for Alderaan getting blown up. And we're not going to see that time period, but how interesting would it be to
the film might end with that.
You never know.
Because that teaser from Comic-Con that showed the TIE fighter flying in some kind of...
Yeah, they could cross over a little bit into A New Hope, just show, the weapon being used, because that would be, a big moment for this story, the weapon actually being used, and he could blame himself for all those deaths, so it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, Rogue One keeps getting more exciting. That's for sure.
I'm so excited about it.
Much more exciting.
Months away.
There's a reason. It's my number 3 most.
Well, just think about it. We had The Force Awakens 4 weeks ago. We have Rogue One in December, and then Episode 8 in May. Like we're very
the
lucky.
Greatest
We're very
time
lucky.
to be alive is right now.
Yeah. So all right. So getting away from a little bit of Rogue One news, we're gonna move on to Episode 8. Real quick, some smaller news, but actually some very exciting news. It's been reported that Episode 8 will be in fact returning to Ireland and Skellig Michael Island. Now we all expected this because of the way The Force Awakens ended, but I want reactions. I want speculations. What does it mean for Episode 8? How much time are we going to be spent there? Is it only going to be 5 minutes? Is it going to be 30 minutes? Is it a possible training ground? Is it the possible site of the first Jedi Temple? Gio, let's start with you.
Oh, I think this film is going to pick up maybe at the most a year after the events of The Force Awakens, I think.
Wow. That's a big deal.
Well, yeah, I mean, and maybe, show Rey and Luke, training, because that's where the film ended.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm confused. Is the Jedi Temple there or no?
We don't know.
Right.
From what Han Solo said in the movie, his closest friends believe he went looking for the first Jedi Temple.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't know if that's on the island or if he's just hiding there because it's so far out of reach. It's possible though. It's very possible the first Jedi Temple or just a Jedi Temple in general could be there.
I'm leaning more towards just the Jedi Temple being
maybe not the first one.
I mean, just from what we've seen so far, but I have nothing to back that up. But it just tells me that the film is going to pick up right after The Force Awakens, at the most a year, but maybe 6 months, a month.
Yeah, it sounds like they're going to. I mean, apparently they've already shot footage there.
Yeah.
Before The Force Awakens was released, they shot some kind of footage there. Mark Hamill was seen there. It's been reported that Daisy Ridley's on her way back there. So if it's a training ground for her, great. If it's the first or a Jedi Temple, it's even more awesome, unlocking more secrets to the Jedi. But it's all what we expected. We expected to pick up there. It's where we left off the film, and the fact that they're spending so much time here says that we're going to see a lot more of this island.
Yeah.
And this island, Skellig Michael Island, you can't just go there as some kind of tourist. Like you have to sign paperwork and you have to get the rights to go on there. So the fact that they're doing this multiple times says that it's an important place to them.
Mm-hmm.
It could end up being an iconic spot in the Star Wars universe.
Yeah.
After Episode 8,
just like Dagobah.
This planet or the island itself. So Jacob, I mean, what do you think of the idea of going back to Skellig Michael Island for Episode 8?
I love it, first of all, but I don't know where they're going with this because if you look at all the Star Wars movie, they jump significantly in time.
Yeah.
They don't ever lead off right from where the last one ended. But they better show us that first conversation between Rey and Luke.
Yeah, seriously.
I don't care who you are, and they probably think it's better left unknown what they talked about. F that. I want to see that conversation. So you can start.
We all do.
You can start the movie a year and a half after The Force Awakens, but there better be a flashback or something showing me that conversation. And I'm going to be very upset if I don't get to see that initial interaction between them because
I think we all will be.
It's going to be so important, and I think we are going to get Rey training there.
Yes,
and
I think so.
I don't know how it would work because I don't think Rey and Luke are going to be on the island the whole movie. But what if the final lightsaber battle is on that island? I think that would be amazing.
What if? Okay, well, what if they're training? We see Rey and Luke training, all this kind of stuff throughout the movie. What if there's a calling back, they have to leave, but Luke won't leave? Rey leaves, ends up coming back to the island. She gets followed
by Benicio
Kylo Ren, Benicio del Toro, who it is, and then Battle Royale on Skellig Michael Island.
At
I
night.
like that.
At night would be cool, but even dirt with the sunset in the background.
Sure. Or maybe the
shining on the ocean.
Maybe
doves flying in the air. No, I'm just kidding.
Maybe while the sun's going down. I don't want it to be daytime, bright as daytime.
But it's got to be dramatic.
Because those lightsabers, I want to see them in the dark. But I also want to see the characters too. So maybe as the sun's going down,
I feel like maybe this is, Gio had said, this is maybe their Dagobah. Like I think we'll see it in episode 8 and episode 9. Don't you think?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Because I feel like there was like Coruscant was kind of the base, the hub for prequels. You can argue that Dagobah was almost the base for the original trilogy as far as Luke goes.
As far as the Jedi and the Force
Yeah.
and Yoda and Luke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was kind of multiple throughout the original trilogy, but
Yeah.
because we don't really have a base planet in the new trilogy yet. There wasn't really one established except for the the Resistance, but we don't know if they're going to stay there because now the First Order knows where they are.
Probably not.
Yeah, the First Order now knows where they are. So maybe Skellig Michael Island is kind of a hub for Luke and Rey and Chewie and R2.
Yeah,
So
I'm so excited. And the fact that you have to go through so much to even go there,
it says a lot.
let alone film there, they're not doing that just for that one last scene. So
Well, there's actually they just released a featurette on Skellig Michael Island.
Really?
About how they filmed there and what they had to go through. It's a gorgeous featurette, like going into the background and the filming stuff. So if you're a YouTuber, check it out online. Multiple sites release it, but I forgot to attach that to the page. But it's a really cool featurette as far as Skellig Michael Island goes. So, all right, well, moving on to one of the bigger stories throughout the last couple weeks. J.J. Abrams, Daisy Ridley, and John Boyega, during their press tours and all the film junkets and everything, of course they're going to be asked about Episode 8, what's to come, and all that kind of stuff. Well, while being asked about Episode 8 in the script, they can't say very much and when they're going back to film. But while being asked about it, they had some very interesting comments about Episode 8, some very exciting comments, all about Rian Johnson's script. Daisy Ridley said, quote, "It's very good, very good." J.J. Abrams, he didn't say this himself, but his friend Greg Grunberg, who's a longtime friend, been in a lot of shows and movies of his, said that J.J. has read it and said something he never ever says. He said, "It's good. I wish I were making it." He may have said something one time on Lost with Damon Lindelof, the co-creator, but I never hear him express regret like that. Now, J.J. Abrams has since come out and said, "Oh, Greg takes some things out of context sometimes," but he never denied the comments. And John Boyega also, when asked about it, he said, as far as his role in the next film, he says, "My part in the next film will be much more physical, so I might be in the gym a bit more." And he also went on to say that it's great and much darker. So, some very interesting comments, short comments. But, Gio, what do you take away from them?
As far as Daisy Ridley, it's cool. Happy to have the approval of someone who's been in one movie. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, it's good. I'm glad she's excited about it. It means better performance. Finn was a little more telling. John Boyega's, he's going back in the gym. He's getting into even more shape. Tells me that his character is going to quickly heal and maybe has a bigger fight on the ground. You guys are
As a soldier.
As a soldier.
Mm-hmm.
I think he'll be a soldier, and I think he'll have a lot more to do as far as the on-the-ground combat. I mean, he's already trained. We saw him in the Force Awakens. The two lightsaber battles, obviously, and shoot some guns, but he wasn't. There wasn't a ton of action in the film. We know about the shooting in the Millennium Falcon and the speeder chase, but there wasn't a ton of action for him. It sounds like it's going to be ramped up a little bit for Episode 8. Yeah, and as for J.J. Abrams, you should be glad you did one, buddy. You initially turned it down, and you didn't want to do it, but they convinced you otherwise, and you ended up having a good time. Probably.
Would you have liked to seen JJ come back after The Force Awakens? After seeing it?
Without Rian Johnson ever being mentioned, or
no? What if Rian Johnson helped him with the script and then he took over 9?
No, he's saying because you already have the idea of Rian Johnson directing Episode 8, so the director wasn't announced yet.
Yes, if there was no announcement, right? No director or writer was, and J.J. Abrams coming back.
It was up in the air, but J.J. Abrams was most likely going to come back. Would you be cool with that?
No.
You want to see someone else's take?
Someone else, and Star Trek Into Darkness.
All right.
Follow up.
Yeah. All right. Fair enough. Jacob, what do you think about the comments? Anything stands out?
Well, first, Star Trek Into Darkness is very well received critically. You didn't like it, or what?
I had some problems with it, but
Well, I haven't seen it, so I can't comment.
What?
Yeah.
You've never seen Star Trek Into Darkness, dude.
And I've seen the first one, but vaguely. I'm gonna watch them all before the third one this year.
I have both Blu-rays. I'm gonna give them to you.
All right. I already have your Harry Potter ones, but yeah, I'll take those. I really want to watch them. I'm very curious. But anyways, this is not a Star Trek podcast, right? No. All right. So I love Daisy Ridley, but I totally disregard those comments. They don't mean anything to me. Cause
very short.
She could have said, "This is the most amazing script I've ever read in my life," and it wouldn't have made a difference because it's very good. It's very good.
And to be fair, these comments, it was sandwiched in between an entire interview.
Yeah.
So there were a bunch of comments.
I don't blame her. What else are you supposed to say?
Yeah, she can't say very much.
I would just be like, no comment. But then again, that might mean something bad,
Yeah.
So she has to say it's good. But the Finn one stands out to me a lot. I mean, it doesn't give anything away as far as quality of the film or the script, but it does tell me that it's going to be more physical. And, he didn't really spoil anything, but he's not, like, Daisy Ridley could be lying, Not that she is. I'm not saying she is, but she could be. He's not lying about that. It's something, it's like it's a fact in the script, So, and this is what I was thinking, because we talk about, on previous conversations we've talked about how, obviously Daisy Ridley is going to be the Jedi. She's going to be involved in the lightsaber battles, the Force battles, maybe the space battles with the Falcon. Poe Dameron is the pilot. He's going to be involved in the dogfights. So where does Finn fit in? And we talked about pilot Jedi, and we talked about Finn as a soldier. So he's the soldier, and I think he's going to be leading ground attacks.
Well, he's been trained as one.
So
just as a stormtrooper.
So I think he's going to become a general. Maybe not right away in the second movie,
but on his way to become one.
On his way to becoming a general, and he's going to be similar to how Leia and Han were leading the ground battles while Luke was up fighting his father.
Yes.
Finn's going to be leading those ground battles, and that's his role.
3 different perspectives.
Exactly.
It's pretty cool.
And Poe's going to be in his X-wing, and it's So I love that. And the one that stands out to me the most is actually the Finn one stands out to me the most. But the J.J. Abrams one is very interesting because I don't think you should take this too seriously. By the way,
no, because it wasn't said by him.
Because it's the actor who. He's in Lost, right? And
the actor's name is Glenn Gruberg, but he plays Snap Wexley, who he has the giant beard in The Force Awakens.
Yeah, it's the guy he's in Lost,
he's in
right?
Lost,
and he's in Heroes.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. I actually really like that actor. I really like him in Heroes. So I think J.J. Abrams said that sarcastically. Not dissing the script, he's still praising the script, but he's like, oh damn it, it's so good, I wish I was directing it. Damn it, I wish I was. I don't think he really wishes that he was directing the movie. That's just his way of praising the script.
It's more of a job well done, sir, to Rian Johnson.
Exactly. It's a different way of complimenting him. It's not. He doesn't literally want to direct the movie. He's just saying it's so good, I wish I was directing it. It's like a. I don't know the word for it, but I think you know what I'm saying.
It's like a job well done, sir, to
exactly.
Rian Johnson.
So, very interesting comments, but definitely the Finn and the Abrams one stand out to me.
So we've expected with Rian Johnson being brought on board to write and direct Episode 8 that the film is going to be much darker. John Boyega pretty much says it's going to be much darker. How dark, we don't know, but we're expecting, we even said earlier that it could be possibly the darkest film in the entire franchise. What are we expecting as far as darkness or grittiness or deaths in Episode 8? Any kind of thoughts or speculations?
Couple things. I'm expecting Rey to get her ass handed to.
I think Kylo Ren comes back.
As far as
he beats her,
getting the revenge.
Yeah, he beats her.
For that. That last time was a fluke. Face me in my full power. I think bad things are going to happen to the Resistance. What I don't want, this is my fear, I don't want them to go beat by beat with Empire Strikes Back. That was cool with The Force Awakens, to a certain extent, because you want to return it to form and, bring Star Wars back. That's fine. But in this one, I want Rian Johnson to make it his own.
I think he will.
No, I'm confident he will.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Well, especially after watching.
You can't go in with not having concerns.
Yeah, definitely.
That would be a understandable concern for me. So.
I think I'm totally with you. I think it's as far as darkness and, it's going to focus heavily more on the First Order coming back at the Resistance, is going to go beat by beat from The Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah.
But J.J. Abrams, we saw him do Star Trek. He very much paid ode to the original Star Trek and the original movie. Kind of the same thing with Force Awakens. I don't see Rian Johnson doing that.
Right.
He's writing a script. I see him doing his own thing. I hope it's as dark as it can be. I think that'd be awesome. I agree with you. I think Kylo Ren's going to get the best of Rey this time around. And then episode 9's just all out, battle royale. But, I think I love the confirmation from John Boyega. It sounds like it's going to be a hell of a lot of fun, something very different from The Force Awakens. So, any thoughts, Jacob? Anything to add?
I think they went into making The Force Awakens knowing that they were going to pay homage to the whole entire original trilogy, not just A New Hope. It's the most similar to A New Hope, but there's elements in that movie that have to do with all three of the original trilogy films. So I think this was the movie where, all right, bring everybody back home to Star Wars, make it feel like Star Wars again. And I don't think Episode 8 is going to, maybe coincidentally going to have similarities to Empire, but I think Episode 8 is going to be its own beast. It's going to be its own, completely, total own thing. And one thing people have to remember is that, yes, Rian Johnson is writing and directing it, but he doesn't just get to make up whatever he wants.
There's a story group behind it all.
They tell him, look, this is where we want to start. This is where we want the characters to go. This is exactly how the story has to go, but you fill in all the details. You get us from point A to point B to point C, but it's going to be our story, and you put your tone on it. You put your spin on our story. So this is Lucasfilm's story. It's not Rian Johnson's story. So people have to remember that. So, and I think it's going to be its own unique film, because unfairly, The Force Awakens gets criticized for being too similar, but it's not like they tried not to make it similar and it just happened to be. They did it on purpose,
to get back to Star Wars.
Exactly. Yeah. So, and now we've had that. We're all satisfied as Star Wars fans. So now show us something new, and I think that's the direction.
That's exactly why they brought on Rian Johnson.
And look, I kind of get tired of people saying, "Oh, the second film has to be the dark one." Like, I don't. Why not? The first one can be the dark one. The third one can be the dark one. But the way The Force Awakens happened, everyone knows I love The Force Awakens, but the beats were like, the heroes on their journey, and then the heroes prevail at the end. I think Empire is going to be very different, where
episode 8, not Empire.
That's what I meant. I meant Episode 8 is going to be very similar to Empire in the fact that shit's going down, and it's not going to be pretty.
Well, like Gio had said, the resistance is going to get the bad end of the stick this time.
Yeah, and I don't want one of the main. So, all right, when I say the main 5 young characters in this, I'm talking about Daisy Ridley, John Boyega, Poe Dameron, Kylo Ren, and General Hux. That's what I'm talking about. I don't want any of those characters to die. I really like all of them, but I don't think they're all going to make it out of this movie.
Do you have any thoughts on who maybe wins?
I don't know. All right, it's not going to be Rey.
No.
It's not going to be Kylo Ren. I think those two characters are going to be in the next 2 trilogies. No, this trilogy and the next one.
You think so? I hope you're right.
I do. Okay. Why would they kill either of them?
I'm just saying story-wise, like maybe they go on something new for episode.
Maybe, but they've constantly said the episode films are the Skywalker story.
Yes.
And that's never going to change. They're never going to be like, all right, now the next trilogy is about the Dameron family. Like, it's maybe if he hooks up with Rey, if she is a Skywalker, but it's the Skywalker story. So I think that's a lock for Kylo Ren to be in for a while. And his character's so interesting, and he's so young that you can keep him around for so long. Yeah. Daisy Ridley, we don't know if she's a Skywalker or not, but she's the main character, so she's not gonna die in this trilogy. So, I could see Finn making a sacrifice and dying
for Rey.
Yeah. Because they showed us, for some reason,
Gio's over there shaking his head.
For some reason, he's so loyal to her, and that's one problem I have with Force Awakens. Why I'm trying to wrap my head around it. I get it. like, other than Poe, it's the first person he meets outside of the First Order that becomes his friend. It's his first real friend, other than maybe Poe. So I get it.
Well, he says it. He says it's the way she looked at him.
Yeah, but that like makes you care about someone so much.
Who knows? Maybe by the time episode 8 rolls around, he's a little pissed off that she left.
Maybe
They start off on a bad note.
Finn Strikes Back.
Oh God. I wanted to pose a little bit of a question, kind of a two-parter. We're talking about the dark side and all this kind of stuff, but it has to do with General Hux and Kylo Ren and Snoke. Do we think Snoke is on Moraband? And are you guys familiar with Moraband?
I know of it. It's the
Moraband
is
the home planet of the Sith. The home planet of the Sith.
Yeah.
Do we think Snoke is on Moraband?
Maybe, but he could be anywhere. He could be in some random place.
Mm-hmm.
But that would be cool. That'd be really cool.
That'd be crazy.
Yeah.
Gio, any thoughts?
Why not? Why not bring it in? I mean, Snoke's the biggest threat we've had. Well, I mean, I don't know.
Because that would be
That's
dark.
Too early to tell. I mean,
Especially,
we haven't seen anything from him.
Because they're saying it's going to be dark, and Moraband, it has the Valley of the Siths where all the legendary Sith are buried. If Kylo Ren trains there, there's some serious darkness going on.
Oh yeah.
So
I think that would be awesome. I want to see a battle on that.
Because that's where Darth Bane is, who created the Rule of Two. That's where he's buried.
Well, I think wherever Snoke is, either he's by himself or with like a very small group of people, or he's with the whole rest of the First Order, which I think is possible. And well, where's the rest of the First Order? They weren't all on Starkiller Base.
No, I don't think so.
So if Snoke has to have somebody else that, like, I don't think he's commanding the rest of the First Order while he's exactly. Which would I kind of want Benicio to be like a Sith Lord.
The apprentice of Snoke.
Would they have him? Oh, he could be his Vader and leading,
Like Palpatine and Vader, yeah.
Yeah, and then, but
Knapsack.
does that mean Kylo Ren doesn't know about him?
Maybe he doesn't.
Yeah, and I love that idea you talked about. I don't know when it was, a couple weeks ago, how having Kylo Ren being opposed to Benicio del Toro's character, who's also a Force user, but also Luke, like a three-way battle where they're all fighting each other.
On a scale like Michael Island?
One-on-one.
Or on Moraband. How about that?
I just don't know where, I don't know where Rey would be in all that.
It would be...
She wouldn't just be on the side watching.
No, it was...
So
Kylo would have
Rey
beaten Rey already.
Okay.
And then Luke would have stepped in, and then Benicio comes out. It's a three-way fight between the three. Can you imagine a three-way lightsaber fight?
It depends. They have to set up the story right, because there has to be a situation.
This is all speculation on our part, so
definitely.
All right. Well, moving on to the last topic of the day. A little news from Colin Trevorrow, who is directing Episode 9, the Jurassic World director. Over the last, I think it was last week or so, with all the news, revolving around who is Rey. Is she a Skywalker? Is she a Kenobi? Is she just a apprentice of Luke at one point? While speaking with Entertainment Tonight, Colin Trevorrow had a few words to say about that. He promised a few things. I don't want to go into too much of the quote, but basically he says that he promises a deeply and profoundly satisfying answer to the mystery of Rey. Now, this can mean anything. He doesn't give any hints to who she is. But with all this speculation, it seems like the normal audiences, members, are feeling like she is Luke's daughter. Now, is this an answer to that, or is it an answer to something else? Gio, what do you think about the comments, man?
It's very encouraging. Last time we saw The Force Awakens, and every time they were about to give us a clue about Rey, they cut. Mm-hmm. Who's the girl? Cut.
Yeah.
That's a better story for another time later. I'm like, what? Just say it. It's good news. That's been probably one of the bigger complaints that I've heard about as far as The Force Awakens goes. Rey has the ability to do so much with so little bit of backstory.
Is it a complaint? Or okay.
Yeah, it's been a complaint, and it's understandably. I mean,
are those the normal audience members, like friends?
It's a combination of both. Yeah. But I mean, what they should understand is that they have 2 films to establish some history and whatnot and give a little more backstory. Therefore, when you rewatch The Force Awakens, you're like, oh, okay, because, it's all a trilogy, pretty much. Very encouraging.
Yeah, I put this up with the article up earlier, but I had said that, there are a lot of questions that say, people are like, oh, why didn't they tell us this or that? But JJ, he did a very good job of creating a strong foundation and introducing exciting new characters, but at the same time opening a ton of mythological questions as far as Star Wars goes. And that's what the movie is supposed to do, especially a first movie in the trilogy, because there's 2 movies to answer all those questions. Jacob, before I get your response to the comments, I wanted to kind of throw a question out there. Do these comments by Trevorrow, who's directing Episode 9, mean that he's answering the question, or is Rian Johnson going to answer the question, or is he going to leave breadcrumbs for Trevorrow to reveal the big reveal?
I don't want to leave Episode 8 not knowing who Rey is again, because I understand we got a lot in The Force Awakens. We got a lot of information on Kylo Ren, which was enough. But of course, we're all greedy. We want more. No matter what, we want more. And that's it's cool that they spread it out. We didn't find out who she was in The Force Awakens. Stop messing with us. Let us know who she is in Episode 8. But the fact that he said it and he's directing Episode 9 makes me think it's going to happen in Episode 9, which I don't know, because we got No, I'm Your Father in Empire. So why not have her lineage explained in Episode 8? I'm surprised he's allowed to say that, honestly.
Well, what do you think about the comments?
I mean, I like them. I need to know who Rey is. I want to know right now. But
I'm with you.
It's one thing Star Wars has done so well. It keeps us guessing, and it's kind of fun guessing, and then finding out whether you were right or wrong when you see the movie. I don't know, man. I don't see how she can't be Luke's daughter. Because, all right, if she's just, because we've said she's either Luke's daughter or one of his students from the academy that he was trying to rebuild. But if she's just one of his students, why would we need a deeply and profoundly satisfying explanation? So that kind of, unless he's talking out of his ass, that kind of tells me that she is somebody important. And I am not throwing out the possibility of her being related to Obi-Wan Kenobi. I'm really not. And at first I was like, that would be cool, but yeah, right. But I'm starting to believe that it's a possibility, especially the accent. All right, so that's a British accent or whatever. And in our world, that's a British accent. But in the Star Wars world, what kind of accent is that? Where does Obi-Wan come from? Maybe she's, you never know. It doesn't have to be Obi-Wan's daughter or granddaughter. It could be. We don't know if Obi-Wan had a sister and then she had a son and then he had a daughter. It can be a distant relative of Obi-Wan, because I would love to hear that Kenobi name in Star Wars again.
Do we take any kind of recognition as the fact that when we see the vision of her being a little girl, there is no accent?
Maybe the accent hasn't kicked in yet.
Yeah, maybe she learns it on Jakku.
I don't think that means anything.
Okay, that's all I wanted to ask.
I think she's too young to at that point. I don't know. I don't think it matters. I never even thought about that, but that makes sense. But
good question.
How the hell would she learn that on Jakku around in that junkyard?
Well, it's like in the real world, if someone moves to Australia,
I'm not saying,
Europe,
of
they
course she
pick
could
up an
have,
accent.
but she would have had to be around somebody.
Yeah.
All her childhood to develop that accent, and maybe she was. We don't know, but yeah, I think she's either a Skywalker or a Kenobi. I mean, who knows? I mean, there's a bunch of other possibilities.
It's those are the 2 front runners.
It has to be something important. She's our main character. I think it has to be a Skywalker or a Kenobi.
Well, yeah, we'll get to that in a second. Let's get back to Trevorrow's comments for a second. He kind of continues.
Well, that has to do with his comments, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. He kind of continues a little bit. He says, he's saying he's done a lot of scribbling and a lot of notes thinking about the story that he wants to tell. Kind of going back to what he said about Rey. I just wanted to ask, does it change your thoughts on possibly what kind of story they're going to tell for 8 as far as Rey goes, or maybe who she is? I know we've already said it as much as we can, but do we think for sure it's going to be revealed in episode 8?
No.
Is that because of these comments, or is that beforehand?
I think it's because of the comments.
Yeah, definitely.
The fact that Rian Johnson and Colin Trevorrow are working so close together means that they're in a collaborative effort. Okay, if you're going to tell this story, what else can we tell about her in episode 9? For me it means that we're going to know more about Rey, but it won't be till episode 9 until we.
They're just going to kind of leave breadcrumbs until.
Kind of like how Luke figured out in 5 that Darth Vader was his father, and 6 that Leia was his sister, and so on and so forth.
I'm hoping that we find out who she is in episode 8, and then there could be another reveal in episode 9. Maybe that doesn't have to do with her, maybe somebody else, but don't make me wait another 1.5 or 2 years to find out. I'll be upset. Very upset.
I'll be with you, because it's arguably the biggest question coming out of Force Awakens.
Just imagine if you were back in the day and you had to wait 3 years with no internet, nothing. It's like, I want to know what happens after Empire Strikes Back. Return of the Jedi.
Well, I think we would have been used to it if we grew up back then. And now we're so used to
because we didn't even see trailers.
So fast.
They didn't even see trailers back then. So, all right. Well, that's gonna wrap up our movie news for today. Bunch of topics we got to talk about. Good stuff. We're gonna move on to the last segment of the day. Adding a new theme to the show. We're gonna call it Address the Academy.
In homage to Collider's Jedi Council and how they do address the council.
Us as we call it the Padawan Podcast. We think of ourselves as apprentices in the podcast world. Mm-hmm. So
they're the master Jedi.
It's suited that we're at the Academy.
Shout out. No.
So today I thought that I would address the Academy.
Of course. No,
I thought I would start
it's your show.
I kind of have something that regarding the last topic we talked about. Regarding Rey, yes, I know we keep going back to it.
No, I could talk about this all day, man.
We keep going back to it. So, the question is who she is. Is she a Skywalker? Is she a Kenobi? Is she someone new? And, there's facts and there's theories for all of them. There's great answers out there for who she can be. And I wanted to throw a possibility out there. What if she is, in fact, both a Skywalker and Kenobi? What if Luke finds the daughter of Kenobi somewhere, and that's where Rey comes from?
Problem solved. There you go.
Jacob, I want to. Your face, man, you're lighting up right now. You're lighting up right now, so I want to hear the reaction. What are the possibilities of Luke finding out his mentor, his father figure, Ben Kenobi, had a daughter? They meet up, things happen, and Rey is the situation.
Wait,
Rey is the result of things happening.
What happens?
That would make me so happy. It really would. Look, Obi-Wan Kenobi is my favorite character in the whole entire Star Wars universe. I don't know why.
He's arguably.
He's just awesome. I look at him as like the Captain America of the Star Wars universe because he's
especially
so
after
noble.
Ewan McGregor, yeah.
He's so noble. He always does his job no matter what. You know what I'm saying? So especially the Ewan McGregor version of Obi-Wan Kenobi. We didn't really know much about him, Alec Guinness, but Alec Guinness is Obi-Wan Kenobi. Is Ewan McGregor. Look, I'm curious for a second though. You were totally against her being a Kenobi. So are you just presenting the question? Or
I'm just presenting the question. I solely believe she's a Skywalker. I solely believe she is Luke's daughter. But
I think this is a very high possibility because, look, imagine, so there's 30 years in between these stories, episode 6, episode 7. Luke could have done a number of different things. We have no idea other than trying to rebuild the Academy, training Ben Solo. We don't know what he was up to, So imagine if he found out that Kenobi had a daughter somehow.
Arguably his father figure.
Yeah, if he finds out, don't you think he would track her down no matter what? Not just to get it on with her, but to
great wording there, man.
Because he has to find. For the Force.
Yep.
He has to find other Force users and start training. The Academy again, and it would make it a necessity. If he finds out Kenobi had a daughter, it would be a necessity for him to find her, just as far as because he needs to find other Force users. So I could totally see that happening, and then them falling in love, and then having Rey as a result. And I think that would be that would be a Kenobi and a Skywalker, and that would perfectly explain why she's so powerful in the Force.
And why Obi-Wan calls to her, but why she keeps going to Luke at the same time.
Yeah, definitely. So
Gio?
it would make me so happy.
Damn.
Reactions?
No, I mean, I was just thinking about Anakin and Obi-Wan in Episode 3. Like, now they're actually brothers, you know.
They,
technically.
in a way,
right?
yes.
Yeah.
They're related.
It would, I mean, think about this. All right, you have Rey Skywalker. Or then you have Rey Kenobi Skywalker. You know, her middle name's Kenobi. I like that.
Or what if Rey is not actually her real name?
What if it's like
we don't know.
Leia the Second? I don't know.
No.
It brings two. Correct me if I'm using the term wrong, but it brings two bloodlines together.
Bloodlines, yep.
Yeah, and that means one less possibility that whenever a new character comes, like, oh, is he a Kenobi? Is he a Skywalker? Well, no more.
We don't know.
Because now the two are one, and it's one character. It kind of, I don't know.
It wraps everything up.
It kind of wraps everything
That was
up.
an interesting word you used, bloodlines, because there's a book coming out called Bloodlines.
Yep, and we don't know who it's about.
Yeah.
It's about Rey.
Possibility.
So wait, this addressing the Academy, is that when you just bring something up Star Wars related that you want to talk about?
Yeah, anything in the.
Well, it's like
we're gonna do it each episode.
But each episode we each go. Like, we don't all go today.
I was like, wait, what is this? I just went
Oh no,
way
it's
over
like
me.
you've watched Collider Jedi Council, right?
I never watched it.
They
to
do
the
address
end.
address the council. It's like bring up an important issue that you want.
Or
to talk
it's like when we did open mic.
Yeah, it's
like
just
okay,
like open
okay.
mic for
Right.
Star Wars.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I want to throw the idea out there, the possibility. You know, I do think it's a possibility. It's crazy to think about, like, if that's true, because if true, she is without a doubt the strongest Force user we've ever seen.
And that would make sense because she taps into the Force so quickly. And
She's a
Obi-Wan's calling
bloodline.
to her.
She's a bloodline of
So-
not only Darth Vader, but
Obi-Wan
the guy
Kenobi.
who trained Darth
Exactly.
Vader.
And it's
The guy who trained and beat Darth Vader.
look.
Twice.
So a lot of people might complain like, "Oh my goodness, they're making it everyone's related." But do this, please, and that's it. No one else is related to anybody other than their future kids. You know, there has to be another Skywalker after this. There's going to be. It's the Skywalker story, but and it also increases the chances of there being more Skywalkers, because if Ben Solo is the only Skywalker left right now,
He's gone.
then he would have to have a kid
Yeah.
for the Skywalker story to continue. So I think for sure she's a Skywalker. I hope she's a Kenobi. I don't hope it's Andor. I hope it's And. Yeah, Skywalker.
It would
Kenobi.
explain why she's so damn powerful
It really would.
using the Jedi.
Well, and the fact that she keeps traveling, like she's going to Luke, but Obi-Wan's the one calling out to her.
Yeah, definitely.
And I also wanted to throw out, like, I'm saying that it's Obi-Wan's daughter that Luke finds. What if that daughter is named Mara Jade, who is Luke's wife from the old Legend comics?
That would be awesome because they
And
can
what
always
if
take
Mara
from
Jade is, well, what we think is the grave on Skellig Michael Island in that last scene?
that would make sense.
Because we all
That
see the
would make
grave,
total
right?
sense.
We see a stone that looks like it's a grave, that at least we think
That's
it's
what
a grave.
everyone's speculating. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and do we think that that's his wife or someone
I
else?
think so. I mean, who else would it be?
Yeah.
You know,
Because
And
Leia's
how
alive,
freaking-
Han was alive.
How freaking crazy would that for her, her mother's grave, and Luke's her father, you know, and she gets to like talk to her mother's grave, you know.
We're getting real sweaty.
I know before we
Sweaty is good, man.
we didn't notice the Yoda in the flashback scene, but I heard it.
but I
He
can't
says-
make out.
I don't know exactly what he says throughout the whole thing, but he says it binds us. So it's part of his quote when he's explaining the Force to
Yes,
Luke.
yes.
He says it binds us in
Okay, because
that.
when I saw it the last time I saw it, I couldn't make out. I heard him, but I could not make out the words.
He definitely says it binds us. So he's
Okay,
talking about
that's
the Force.
interesting.
I know
So
that.
if she's tapping into Luke, Obi-Wan, and Yoda, dude,
And all
that's
Kylo Ren
crazy.
has his Vader, so I mean,
that's
which is powerful.
insane to think about.
But you never know. What did Palpatine ever become a Force ghost? We don't know.
Well, who would he become a Force ghost to?
I mean, it doesn't have to be one person, you know. It can
That's
be,
true. Because I feel
maybe
like
it could. Maybe it's
as
Snoke.
far as we
Maybe
know,
he's a Force ghost to Snoke.
well, as far as we know, the Force ghosts show up to people they know. Yoda, Obi-Wan, and Anakin to Luke.
Well, they don't know Rey. Yoda and Obi-Wan don't know Rey.
That's true.
Think about that.
But they're not Force ghosts.
True. You're right. They're just calling to her. So.
Yeah. Any last thoughts on today alone? The Dress Academy or anything else?
Please let that be true. That's all.
That's
I'm
pretty
saying.
good.
You
pretty
guys
good
saw me.
question,
I could
right?
not hold my smile back.
Yeah,
when you
that was
mentioned
crazy.
It was
Right.
awesome.
Yeah.
I would love it to be true.
Awesome. Well, that's gonna wrap up our first the first Padawan Podcast 2016. Before we go, I want to thank Jacob and Gio for joining me, Grandma Bartley and C3GO. Jacob, we'll start with you, man. Where can they find you online?
You can find me on Twitter at Governor Bartley, on Instagram, Facebook, everywhere, Jacob Bartley, and on this YouTube channel. Please subscribe.
Yeah, Gio, what about you?
Gio Ramos 24 on Twitter and on apocalypsemovies.com every day.
Yeah, you can find me, Qui-Gon Jake, Twitter, Instagram at Qui-Gon Jake. Apocalypse Movies every day. Please make sure to hit that like button and share and subscribe, all the good stuff. Give us some support. Look out for the next Padawan Podcast. And until next time, may the Force be with you.